Welcome to another false positive, false negative video. This is about transplants. So my dog needs a new tail. Tail transplants are common. However, if the body rejects the tail, the dog may die. Therefore, a new test was created to check for tail-body compatibility. However, the test is not perfect. 25% of negative tests and 12% of positive tests prove to be incorrect. Research shows that 32% of bodies reject the new tail. We're going to do two questions with this. One, if the new test is positive, what is the probability the body is rejecting the new tail? And B, if the new test is negative, what is the probability the body is not rejecting the new tail? To create our table, we will use a population of 10,000 dogs. So our first step is to use all of these percentages to create our table. So let's just outline our table first. So I'm talking about rejecting the tail, not rejecting the tail. So that goes this way. And then you can also think about a positive test result, negative test result, and then we have our totals. Our totals are down here as well. So remember, if our body is going to reject the tail here, we would expect the test to come back positive. So that's this spot. Okay. So it tells us to use 10,000 as our total. If you go back, it says 32% of bodies will reject the new tail. So we'll reject 32%. So we're going to take, for this spot here, we'll take our 32% times 10,000, and that will give us 3,200. So then to find our not rejection total, 10,000 minus 3,200 gives us 6,800. Now we at least have our totals. So let's go back, and it says 25% of negative tests are incorrect. Okay, so here's our negative test line. If the negative test, we would expect it to be not reject, right? Negative, negative. So if it's incorrect, that's here. So our blue X, again, we're talking about this one, that's 25%. So this is going to be 0.25, and because it's in the line with 3,200, that's what we're going to multiply by. So 25% of 3,200 gives us 800 false negatives. And then if you take 3,200 minus the 800, you'd get 2,400 over here, like the actual positives. Same process. Let me change colors here. 12% of positive tests are wrong. So positive tests, we know they're wrong if that's not rejected. So that is the 12% of 6,800, because again, that's the horizontal line it's in, which gives us 816. 6,800 minus 816 gives us 5,984 in our table. We now do our totals vertically, 3,216 and 5,984. So that's how you create your table. And now when we go to our questions, remember question A was about a positive result and actually being rejected. So part A, positive test and rejecting the tail. So when you go to your table, we know we are looking at this column only because it says positive test result. And it will reject, so we want that piece. Okay, let me just get rid of, oops. Okay, so the positive, we know that there are 3,216 total positive results, and 2,400 of them actually will test positive, which is part A for an answer of 0.746. Part B is similar, except it says negative result. So for part B, we want the negative column and actually testing negative. Why didn't you guys tell me before that this was wrong? You're like, well, we could, but we couldn't talk to you. So that's 6884. Sorry about that, 6784. So for part B, I want a negative result on a negative test. And so my fraction is the 5984, those that tested negative, over the total 6784 for a 0.882. And there is another false positive, false negative example.